Good evening, everybody. This is Oni here, and today I'm bringing you part 9 or 10, depending of what I've named the thumbnail, of what if Deku married a snake girl. And before we get into this video, I'll be sending up a live stream by the time this video is live, so you guys can have a chat with me or talk to me in the actual Discord channel. The live stream will be 30 minutes long, so I do hope you guys really enjoy it. And let's get right into the video where you guys can enjoy the birth of a certain someone. We're gonna start this video off 5 months after Mia's got pregnant, as we go to Izuku and Mia's point of view, as Mia was wrapped around Izuku's waist and sitting on his lap while Izuku was patting her stomach, rubbing it from front to back, as Inko walked into the room stating that they might have to go to a high school to further their education. As Izuku and Mia's ears both perked up at the same time of a mention of a high school. As Izuku and Mia both said in unison, where would they be going? As Inko stayed upset they'll be going to Shiketsu High, a high school for smart intellectual people like yourselves, Mia and Izuku. Izuku and Mia both sat up at this question, stating should they go or not, as Mia rubbed Izuku's cheek saying, "Come on, let's go to high school. Come on, it won't hurt to try it." As Izuku kissed her on the cheek, but Mia wasn't satisfied, as she kissed Izuku on the lips passionately with her snake tongue inside his mouth, as they both melted into the kiss, forgetting Inko was in the room. As Inko coughed out loud, "Come on kids, we don't want to get you pregnant while you're pregnant, do we?" Inko remarked, with a slight smirk on her face. As Izuku and Mia both blushed, dark red like Kirishima's hair. As Mia and Izuku both got up and told Inko they're going for a walk for a little while, so they might be in late. As Inko replied saying, "That's okay, sweethearts. Go have fun." As Izuku and Mia got ready for their date, more or less, as Mia and Izuku walked to the park, as they saw a pink-skinned with horns on her head, as this girl is Mina Ashido, as she was trying to train her acid quirk, as Izuku and Mia both walked past her and put her no mind, but Mia did think about it though, thinking she can get another training partner when she's being give birth to little Izuku, she thought in her head, as we do a time skip of the next 4 months, with Izuku and Mia both getting prepared for their first day of school, as they are now 16 years of age. Izuku and Mia both was walking down the street to find Shiketsu High, as in this universe it's a high school, not a hero school to train the young heroes. As Izuku and Mia was both walking to Shiketsu High, as they were greeted by a bulking behemoth named Indrasha, as he accidentally knocked into Izuku, as he stood up and greatly apologized, doing the head bowing thing he did to Shoto in season 3 episode 16, as Izuku also said sorry because he knew he was also in the way. Izuku was getting up as he noticed Mia was feeling a little bit odd, as he asked her what is wrong, but the moment he asked her, Mia said she couldn't help it anymore, as white liquid came out of her like a gushing volcano, as Izuku instantly remembered it was around the time her water would break, as he used his wind manipulation to try and carry her to the nearest hospital. But Inasha instantly stopped him, saying, "Where do you think you're going? Class is about to start." As Izuku turned around, letting out the shit ton amount of bloodlust he could muster at the time, which can easily paralyze the person in front of him. As Izuku shouted at him, saying, "I'm taking my wife to the hospital, you dumb fuck," Izuku said out loud. As Inasa let go of Izuku as he rushed to the hospital. On the way there, he called Mrs. and Mr. Yaoyorozu. To Mr. and Mrs. Yaoyorozu's dismay, they answered Izuku, as they were greeted with Izuku screaming at them, saying to hurry and get to Tokyo Hospital quick. Mia's just gone into labor, as they told Izuku to calm down and tell him to explain this slower. As Izuku said quietly again, saying, "Mia just went into labor. Quick, come to the hospital now. And please call my mother," Izuku said, as they instantly, without any thinking, grabbed everything they could and rushed to the hospital. As Mia was laid on the bed, withholding Izuku's hand tightly, Mia was going through a little bit too much pain for her to bear. As Izuku couldn't see this anymore, as they asked the doctors how long would it be until the baby would be born. Not very long now, I'd say like about 5-7 minutes at most, as the doctors now asked Izuku to leave so they could get to work. But without thinking, Izuku said, "No, I would like to be by my wife's side while she's giving birth to my beautiful baby." As one of the doctors with a super strength quirk picked Izuku up and carried him outside. As Izuku was outside of the door waiting for an answer to come in, as at this point, Mia's mother and dad, same with Inko, was just running down the halls to try and find where Izuku and Mia were, as they saw Izuku stressed as all hell, as his tails was curling up into himself, as Izuku's legs couldn't stop bouncing, getting ready to get the question or answer he wanted about Mia and his child. As Izuku's mother and Mia's mother and father ran to Izuku asking how's their daughter. As Izuku said, "She's fine, all I know. The doctor said she'll be in labor right now and she's giving birth to him or her." I never got the answer about the gender because we wanted to keep it a secret, you remember that, right? As the two doctors came out the room asking them to come in. As the moment they walked in, they saw a beautiful baby girl with red hair and green tints on the sides of her hair. Without even thinking, Izuku's body moved on its own like it was his primal instinct, and instantly went to Mia's side, looking at their beautiful baby girl, as Izuku curled up into himself as Mia handed the baby to Izuku, as Izuku cradled the baby's head with one of his soft hands, as Izuku couldn't help but let out a shy tear of happiness, as Inko and Mrs. Yaoyorozu walked over to Mia, asking if she was okay, as Mia instantly replied saying, "Yes, I'm fine, thank you, but I'm more interested in how my daughter's doing." As Inko and Mrs. Yaoyorozu looked over to see the beautiful baby girl, as Inko, literally without hesitation, instantly rushed over and asked Izuku can she hold her new grandchild, as Izuku allowed this as the moment he handed the little baby girl over to Inko. Inko instantly had her heart melted into herself as she was instantly calm. It's like the baby is a sedative for any sort of emotion except from happiness, as she started to cry a little bit, But Izuku instantly hugged her, saying, "She's adorable, isn't she, Mom?" As Inko instantly said, "Yes, she is. She's beautiful," Inko said. As Inko passed the baby on to Mrs. Yairozu, as she did the same thing. "I'm gonna spoil you rotten, you little monkey," Mrs. Yairozu said in happiness. As Mr. Yairozu finally saw his grandchild and instantly felt really happy that her daughter has grown full up to a full matured woman, as he started to cry tears and tears and buckets of water coming out of his eyes, as Momo was super excited and also upset that she is an auntie, but not the upset as what you think she is. Basically the tears of happiness, as Momo couldn't help but cry that she is an auntie. As at this point, all three of them asked Mia and Izuku what they're gonna name the new baby girl, as they both said in unison, "I'm gonna leave this up to you. If you guys want to name her or not, you guys get to pick and choose what type of name you guys want her to have. So be creative in the comments section, I guess." As Izuku and Mia said her name, as they all agreed on the name, as Izuku handed his daughter back to his loving, caring wife, Mia, as the moment she touched Mia's skin, she started growing or forming a tail, as they were all shocked, thinking she has a transformation quirk at a young age. Holy shit, they all thought. As Izuku and Mia both started crying, thinking her little daughter has her quirk, but a better version of it. She can turn it off and on. "That's so cute," Izuku said, but in Mia's head, she was screaming, saying, "Yes, yes, yes, she has my quirk, yes!" And she was overexcited, but she still kept that in her head as she cuddled with her baby girl, as Izuku crawled up right next to her as they both slept for the night. As Shiketsu Hai has called them multiple times asking where Izuku and Mia were, as Mrs. Yairozu picked up the phone telling them where they were and what situation they were in. Mrs. Yairozu told them that Mia was rushed to the hospital because she was in labor, as at this point she was told by the school that Mia can have the rest of the month off if she wanted to, or take as much time as she wanted, because the head of the school was the parent of 3 young women. As Mrs. Yairozu hung up the phone, as she went back to the hospital to see her grandbaby, as we do a time skip of 9 months once again, as at this point Mia and Izuku had got used to being up all night with the baby. This would be when Izuku and Mia ran into All Might while they were pushing the baby in the stroller, as All Might noticed, because they haven't been talking for a while now, as All Might noticed there was a baby in there, as All Might asked, "Excuse me, Mia, but what is that?" All Might said in a very weirdish tone, as at this point All Might's One for All was still in his body, but it was barely clinging on, like baby clinging on to life. As All Might noticed a little baby girl with a snake tail. "Oh my god, is that?" "Oh," All Might said out loud as he said, "Aw," as All Might pushed his hand out as the baby girl grabbed his finger, as this made his heart melt, as All Might asked, "How old is she?" "She's 9 months, Toshi." "Wait, 9 months? I missed the birth? Fuck!" All Might said in his head, but he wouldn't say this out loud, scared of her first word being a very naughty word. As Mia and Izuku started walking with Toshinori, other words All Might, as they started walking down the street, they saw UA fully new built and students going back to UA, as All Might brought this up, saying, "Yes, UA would be reopened today, and also, you're going to UA next year, aren't you?" Mr. Midoriya and Miss Mia, aren't you? All Might said. Yes, we are. I'm also All Might. I'm just wondering if you can make a daycare center for UA, Izuku said, while Mia was clinging onto his arm while Izuku was pushing trailer. As All Might agreed with this and called up Nezu asking if they could make a daycare center. As Nezu complied, saying, "Yes, that's fine, but why do you want one of them?" "Because one of our students might have a kid." As Nezu dropped the phone and picked it back up, saying, "What?" As Nezu was shouting at his top lung capacity, as this woke up Aizawa, as he asked what was the matter. "We need to build a daycare center. Get Cementos now." As Nezu had tea in his one hand, shaking like a crackhead going through withdrawal symptoms.